This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your mental health, your relationships, and your money. I'm John Deloney, joined here by my good friend George Camel, and we are taking your calls on everything. Lines are open, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Anna in San Jose, California. Hey, Anna, what's up?
Hello. Just looking for some help on strategy.
Oh, your name is Anna, isn't it?
Anna. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Here's the thing. You said it right, and Jenna wrote it correctly.
It's her name.
Oh, that's true. Well played. You said it right. Jenna, the call screener, she wrote it correctly, and I didn't read it. I'm sorry. I hate getting people's names wrong. That's so basic humanity. So, Anna, what's up?
Okay, my husband and I want to purchase a home, and we're hoping to be able to pay cash for that, but we just have a little bit of a struggle on strategy on what we should do first. We currently are renting. We live in San Jose, California. The rent is outrageous. We have $400,000 towards a house purchase. We realize that we'll have to move out of the area. My husband and I are both working right now. We would not be able to transfer over our jobs if we leave the state. So that means looking for new employment as well. He has contacts in the Dallas area that he feels he could secure a job, but there's a high income or the high property taxes in Dallas. So we were also looking in Florida, but he doesn't really have that many contacts there. Additionally, we have a 103-year-old mother-in-law in a nursing home, and that means leaving her and then coming back for her later to bring her to where we're at. So we just don't know what steps. Like, should we look for the house first or look for the job first or what?
Where do you guys want to live?
Well, ideally, in a perfect world, I'd love to stay in San Jose because it's where we were both born and raised, but we know that we can't do that. So he's leaning towards Dallas because of the job contact. I'm leaning towards Florida because we'd be on the coast, close to the water, what we're used to.
How old are you guys?
And we're old souls. I am 66 and he's 65. But we want to keep working. We're both very healthy, and we're young, 65 and 66.
So I love the fact that you want to keep working. I think that's remarkable. I want you to think, you're 65, 67. George's question, I don't want you to miss how poignant that was. What do you want to do? Because you're asking questions as though you're at the beginning of your financial future. I want to avoid this. You've worked hard to get where you are. So what do you want to do?
Ideally, we want to be homeowners, and we don't want to have a mortgage, so that when we do stop working, whenever that is, we are secure that we have, shelter and room over our head. We have no debt, no credit cards, no car payments, none of that.
So your question sounds like it's coming from a place of fear, that soon everything's going to implode, and we need to make sure we've got a tent and a lean-to and like a root cellar. And I want to flip this around. You've said you got $400,000 in cash?
Yes.
That will buy you a nice place in a lot of places across the country. Not in San Jose, not in California, not in Austin, not in certain parts of Florida. That's a chunk of money. And so I would love you to flip this thing around and say, we were born and raised here. We spent all of our life here. We want one last adventure. Where do we want to go? And not look at it as you're escaping for your lives, but you are going to live your life the fullest. And I know you're leaving California, so I know many people think they are escaping with their lives. But did you get what I'm saying, how important that mindset shift is?
Yes.
Because when you make such a big move out of fear and desperation, you end up in a city you don't want to be in, or you don't think through all the implications, or you wish you had just been on the water and you kind of regret the last 10 years. I want you to flip that thing around and say, we get to, because we've been stewards of our money, because we have put ourselves in a position where we want to still be working, we are blessed with health. What do we want to do? We got 10, 15 years of working years left. We want to go to the wheels fall off on this thing. What do we want to do with that? And start thinking about that. And then this whole thing turns into an exciting adventure, not a run. You get that?
What's interesting is that you were going to have a paid-for house, but then you were worried about the cost of property taxes. And so to me, there's always going to be another thing, another fear. Yes. And that's why I asked, where do you want to live? And if you want to pay cash for a house, that's awesome. I love that goal for you guys, especially at your age, not having to worry about a mortgage payment. Do you guys have anything in retirement?
We have close to $500,000 in retirement.
Okay, awesome. And what's your household income?
It is, let's see, I wrote it down. It's about, oh my gosh, I don't know where I put it. My husband's here. We have a little over $120,000 in, that's gross. But
Awesome.
Net is closer to $85,000.
Sure. And it'll probably go up if you move away from California, so that's nice. But here's the thing. You guys are close to millionaires if you're not already.
No.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Have you taken a moment to celebrate that? Because a lot of people are fearful, and they have right to be, but you guys are millionaires. You have a great income. You're very healthy. You're willing to work. I mean, if it's anything like Mom, you guys could go past 100. You still got another 40 years of your life. And so I want you to have a vision for it. And it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. I know you're sick of renting, but I don't want you to sit around renting for the next 10 years because you want to pay cash for the house. I want you to move forward with your life regardless of that.
So here's what I want to see you do, Anna. I want you to take out that handsome husband of yours, and I want y'all to go. Y'all go.
He's right here.
He's right there.
He's sitting right here with me.
I want you to. He's not that handsome, is he? Just kidding. He is. So I want you to take his hand, and I want y'all to go have breakfast. I want you to plan a 2 or 3 hour breakfast together, or a nice lunch or a dinner, whatever y'all do. And I want you to ask each other the question. We've got 20 years. We've got 30 years. If we're looking at Mom, who's 103, we may have 40 more years to go. What do we want to do with the last few precious years of our life? What jobs do we want? Where do we want to live? What do we want to have access to? What do we want that to look like? And I want y'all to dream together. To answer your original question, I would not be looking at homes until I had a place to work. And I wouldn't, in your situation, be so focused on what the job is going to be until I know where I want to look and concentrate that. Or maybe we're going to look at in Dallas and in Florida. George, you nailed it. There's always going to be a thing that's going to trip this up. You're a millionaire, Anna. A millionaire. Mm-hmm. Y'all did it. You're doing great. Turn this thing around, dream big, and then find a place where you want to be, find work, and then work on getting the home. Thank you so much for the call. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Triple 825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. I'm John Deloney, joined by George Camel. We are taking your calls on mental health, relationships, money, your mortgages. What in the world are we doing in 2022? Anything you got going on in your heart and mind? Triple 825-5225. Let's go to Mindy in Birmingham, Alabama. Hey, what's up, Mindy?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. What's up?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in a situation where we've worked really, really hard for a long time in school and saving and everything, but we have quite a bit of savings. We have, or just money that has, that we have, I guess, earned. We have 400.
I hope that's how you got the money.
Yes, 400 to 500,000 in cash right now, and we are wondering. We were planning on putting it in the stock market, investing it. But the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I started listening to your show, and I thought, I turned to my husband and I said, maybe we should pay off our house. And he said, well, our house, to pay off our house would cost about as much as it would cost to pay off our business loan. And he's like, that's not our business loan has a higher interest rate. And I was kind of like, oh, well, I'd rather put our money, if we're going to do that, I'd rather just put our money into investments. And so now we kind of have three options because we have no, since we're self-employed, we do not have any, match program or any retirement program right now. And so I was just calling to ask what you would do as far as where we should put, what's the best use of this money.
What's your business?
And it's an orthodontic practice. And
y'all are billionaires, aren't you?
No,
billionaires.
One day, but no,
I'm just kidding.
no. But we have for a long time. He's been working for 7-8 years now. We have 4 kids. I mean, we've paid off $300,000 of student loan.
Wow.
He bought, another practice that we ended up, going back to zero as far as our bank account goes to, go in with to this, bought another practice. And so we feel like I'm sitting here feeling like we have no retirement when you think, well, we have a couple businesses and that's just where we've put it. We haven't, or my family kind of grew up telling you, put it in the stock market, put it in the stock market.
Sure.
And he's kind of more like,
Mindy, how long did it take for you guys to get this $400,000 or $500,000?
A couple of years.
You're going to be okay. So here's what I want to say.
Mama Mindy, breathe, exhale.
Well, it's also, you never know how your business is going to go. I mean,
sure.
We've had a great couple of years, but, is it going to stay
so
like that?
Let me simplify
with the economy going down.
I try, if I'm talking to my wife and she's sending a text, she's not hearing me. It's really hard to do multiple things at once, and right now you're trying to do 3 things at once, and you're feeling the tension in the middle of all of this. And so if I'm in your shoes, here's what I'm doing. The business loan is not on the same playing field as your mortgage. You guys are in debt.
Right.
This loan is under your name, so this is like baby step 2. We're taking a side step here. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm paying off this loan, which is going to free up a whole bunch of money, isn't it?
Which one?
What's the debt service on your business loan?
On this business loan, you said it's high interest.
So they're both about the same. They're both right. So our house, we probably have about $300,000 left, which is our house is on a 15-year, and it's like 2.3%. And then the business loan is a little more. It's closer to 400. because he actually just renovated the office. So anyway, but that's at like a 4.5, and he's paying like he told me yesterday he was paying a little over $4,000 a month for that, and like 26 is going towards principal.
Sure. I'm not as concerned with interest rate right now. I'm looking
less.
at it through a different filter where I'm going, all right, let's pay off this business loan. That's going to free up a lot of cash flow. And then you're going to start investing 15% of your income into retirement. That might look like a SEP IRA or a solo 401k. You guys got to get that set up for yourselves as self-employed folks. And then beyond the 15%, you're going to have so much margin to throw at the house and pay this thing off within a few years. So we can do all three, but we can't do it at once.
Right. So another thing that's going through our minds is that, the stocks are down right now. Is this a good time to invest?
It's a great time. Every day is a great day to invest. If the stock market's down, you're getting the stocks on sale.
That's right.
And if they're going up, your stocks are going up with it. And so I don't want you to try to time the market here. You just need to be consistently investing over time.
Let me give you a framework I want you to keep in mind.
Okay.
You're trying to solve for safety, and you're trying to solve for freedom, and you're trying to solve for growth. You can't solve for growth and freedom, or you can't solve for growth when you're not free, and you can't be free if you're not safe. And you've got a $400,000 liability in a business loan hanging out over your head. Right? So let's solve for safety there, and let's be safe. Let's get that out of the way. Then let's solve for freedom. We owe, let's say your last name is Smith. The Smiths owe nobody anything. No business debt, no house debt, and then suddenly I just freed up an extra $8,000 a month in business loan payments and house note for dumping into retirement. Now we're solving for growth. You get where I'm going?
Yeah.
So let's be safe.
So my husband's right.
Let's be safe.
Oh, that's what it was, John.
What was
she just had to admit, so my husband's right.
Oh, no!
A lot of resignation in that tone.
Oh, what's his name?
No, I'm good. Don.
Yep.
He's not listening. He doesn't even know I'm calling, so.
Well, when we email him after this call and we clip it and send him the video, he for sure will. But you're asking great questions. Here's what's cool, George. Mindy and her husband, they've already been living these principles. They have a 15-year note. They are paying off their student loan. I mean, they're way down the road.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's just a matter of getting these things in the right order.
Yeah. And Mindy, I want you to run this business debt-free once this loan is paid off. Yep. Because that's going to take all the fear out of the equation. It's going to take, is this going to be a tough year for us? You don't have to worry about that when you have no payments in the world on your business and in your personal life. But we have to do these things in order so that we feel the progress, because otherwise you're going to be going, I'm going to try to pay this off while paying the house off, while trying to invest in the market, and you're not going to see progress in any of those areas.
So you just recently paid off your house. What was the challenge? I'm like her. I want to do everything all at the same time, and if I can't do one of the three things, I quit them all, and I just sit in my house.
Well, John, a lot of people are they came to me and said, George, why are you paying off your house early? You could be investing in the market. Why are you paying down this low-interest debt when you could leverage that and put it all in the market for 10, 11%? And I just kept thinking to myself, I'm fine. Because I follow the baby steps, we'll be multimillionaires. So right now, my goal is not to try to get rich quick in the market. My goal is I'm solving for freedom right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to increase my cash flow so that, our greatest wealth building tool is our income.
Right.
And until you have that freed up, you can't really do all the things at once.
That's right.
And now that we don't have a payment in the world, we can go all in on investing and generosity, and we have time for all these things. And so that's what I want from Mindy. I mean, they're a young, sharp couple running an amazing business, making great money, but she didn't feel that. You don't feel that in her tone that she's doing great. Right. Everyone in America is
there's fear there.
Yeah, you guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and you feel this tension of we're not doing enough.
Right. So I don't want to blow by something here real quick before we go to break. You mentioned, hey, this business debt, y'all set this up in your name. This is really like a huge credit card bill, right?
People don't see business debt as their debt.
Kind of like student loans isn't debt, right? Or business debt's not debt.
But it's Don and Mindy LLC, orthodontist practice. It's your debt. And so you've got to get rid of this thing. Run your business debt-free. That's what we teach in Entree Leadership. And Mindy, I'd love to send you a copy of that. Hang on. Jenna's going to pick up. Read through that book. You guys are crushing it, and I want you to continue to crush it.
888-825-5225. We're talking about everything right here on The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Debt-free stage, Tracy from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. How in the world are you?
Really, really good.
Really good. So good to see you and your friends in your matching t-shirts. You fit perfectly here in Nashville.
Is this like a bachelorette party? What's going on here?
No, this is my debt-free scream party.
Oh, thank goodness. Y'all didn't come here on a pedal tavern. That's fantastic. All right, so you're here to do your debt-free screen.
Yes.
Walk us through it. How much have you paid off?
I have paid off $98,000.
Ooh, how long did it take?
About 4.5 years.
4.5 years. And how much money was your annual? What was your annual income?
I went from about $45,000 to about $58,000.
And what's your profession?
Well, now I am in IT, but before I owned my own business, I've always had 3 or 4 jobs my whole life. But I was a college coach. I owned my own business. Did accounting. I'm an accounting major. So I had several things that I was doing. Now, since I've become debt-free in June, I sold my business. I was catapulted to baby step 7, and I've been able to quit a lot of those.
Wow, you get to be a human again.
Yep.
So what kind of debt was this?
It was everything from student loans to IRS to family loans to anything you can imagine. Credit cards, doctor bills, everything.
So what happened 4 years ago that caused you to say enough is enough is enough?
There was a couple of different things. One of the major turnarounds in my life was when my son and I had gone to one of his hockey tournaments, and I had gone up to the hotel to pay the hotel bill, and my credit card was denied. And so I pulled out another credit card. That one was denied. I called a couple of my friends to see if they could, and nobody would answer. During this time, while I'm standing there at the desk, several people from my community are coming up and seeing this. And I was only able to get a room by my dad faxing over a form saying that he would take care of my hotel bill. So that was the first thing, like, okay, something's got to change. And then at 4.5 years ago, I was just at the time where I was going to do a debt consolidation. And I remember talking to the gal on the phone, and she's like, just quit paying on everything. We'll take care of it for you. And I remember thinking, I got a really sick feeling in my stomach, because I'm like, but these are my debts. I should be paying for these. They're not the responsibility of anybody else. And about that exact same time, my sister was signed up to do the financial piece within our church, Fusion Church in Mitchell, South Dakota. And so she said, you know what, Tracy, before you do that debt consolidation, because I was about ready to sign, and she said, before you do that, look at Dave Ramsey, look at this and see ever since then, I've been gazelle intense, man.
Wow.
It's incredible. So what was the hardest part about this journey?
Probably the hardest part was just, of course, telling people no. But after I got comfortable with telling people the journey that I was on and not really caring about their reaction, because really everybody out there thinks that you have to have a car payment. You have to have a credit card, all of this. And I was proving them wrong. I was proving them wrong. It can be done and you can do it. So I think probably just saying no, and that's probably about it.
So what did you do to get out of debt?
I hustled like a maniac.
You were already kind of a hustling maniac.
Yeah, I look at my planner from 2 years ago, and there's no room. I was everywhere doing everything, whatever. So now I can relax.
So you went from, you've got these maxed out credit cards that are being declined. What were you feeling during that moment? And now what do you feel after this transformation?
I was feeling beat down, and I was feeling like I have been believing everything people have been telling me all this time. And my parents were great with money. And there's 5 siblings, and we worked from the day, from 14 years on. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs, so it wasn't part of that. But I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
Oh, I was just wondering the feeling, the emotion from the shame of oh my gosh, I'm in front of all these people and my cards are getting declined left and right. And now the freedom that you have. What was that transformation like emotionally?
And that day we went back to the hotel room and I just started bawling. Yeah. And my little boy, he was like, "Mommy, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay." And I tell you what, when you guys tell us that this is freedom, that this is peace, I'm telling you, it is. I'm just shaken. Yeah. There's no other feeling like it.
What other things were going on in your life? Because that's usually when money is in that situation, when you're sitting at a hotel counter trying to get in, the rest of our lives are a mess too. Yep. And this is just the big neon sign saying we're in the ditch.
Yep. I was single. I had 2 kids. I was waiting. I literally was waiting for somebody else to make it better. I thought somebody was going to come into my life and I wouldn't have to work. I wouldn't have to worry. And it's like, why was I ever okay with thinking that and feeling that? It's such empowerment.
And I can see that woman 4.5 years ago was not real happy with what she saw in the mirror. Right. And this Tracy, you love Tracy enough to get matching T-shirts. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. All right, so who are your biggest cheerleaders?
Right there. These are my biggest cheerleaders. My sister Teresa is, like I said, she's now a SmartVestor Pro as well as leading Financial Peace University. But my niece Kelsey, my daughter Taylor, my friend Nikki, and my friend Kelly. Kelly and Nikki are both debt-free. My sister's on her way. She's almost there. And our 2 girls are living it too. They're seeing us do it. So
that's incredible. What do the shirts say for everyone listening?
It says from the 605 to the 615. So South Dakota area code, Nashville area code.
Nice.
And then on the back it says, "Ask me why I'm on my way to Nashville." And then it's got hashtag 605 baby steppers.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
you have a gang?
Yeah, we have a gang.
So you don't know this, but the cool thing in Nashville is to get the hashtags on your shirt tattooed on your body. So y'all can do that after this.
We've actually thought about that. We've actually thought about it.
Don't listen to him. Do not listen to him.
Of course you have.
Wow. Well, we're so proud of you.
Yeah, we're so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Listen, you are strong and brave, and you did hard things, and you've changed it not just your family tree. You've led the charge, and all of these folks' family trees are different because of the work you put in. And I'm grateful to have people like you in the communities that my little kids are growing up in, because that kind of bravery that's going to get us out of this mess. And you did it, and I'm so grateful for it.
Thank you so much.
We got Tracy from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, paid off $98,000 in 4.5 years. All by herself, working 1,000,000 jobs. Count it down. Let's hear your debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Yeah! Dude, we felt that through the double pane glass.
Oh my goodness. That might have been one of my top 5 screams.
Ever.
And what John forgot to mention is we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for Tracy.
Oh, well played.
That is absolutely the next chapter in her story, and of course a copy of Total Money Makeover so that she can ignite someone else's journey to bravery and hard things and sacrifice and winning with money and freedom and all of that good stuff.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a copy of Total Money Makeover to each one of your gang.
Oh, I love it.
And the goal is to give it away and bless somebody else. So you're going to run across somebody in the next few weeks that's going to be struggling, and you're going to say, I got the key, and it's going to be hard, and it's going to take a few years, and you're going to change everything. Good for you guys. I'm so proud of you.
That's
so
amazing.
proud of you.
Man,
George,
what a
that
story.
transformation, she's a great storyteller, thinking about being at the counter.
Yeah.
And not having the money to pay for a kid's soccer stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a powerful
And being able to stand up in front of millions of people and say, I am absolutely free. That transformation happened because she put the work in, she followed the plan, she kept going, she surrounded herself with great people, and kept going from the 605 all the way to Nashville. So grateful for you. Wow. Change can happen right here on The Ramsey Show. It's resolution season, and if you're like most people, you make resolutions on New Year's Day and give them up by Valentine's Day. Why? Because you were trying to figure it out on your own. So, if you've decided to take control of your money this year, don't do it alone. Get the support and accountability you need by joining a Financial Peace University class. You'll go through our proven money plan with other people who will help you stay motivated because they're trying to get out of debt and build wealth just like you. Right now, there are hundreds of FPU classes getting started, both in person and online. Welcome to the 21st century. So forget the lame resolutions. Make 2022 the year you take control of your money, and don't do it by yourself. Find an FPU class and get started for free at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Let's go to Robert in Richmond, Virginia. What's up, Robert?
Hey, how are you all today?
Hey, my brother, how are you?
Just fine. Before I ask my question, I wanted to congratulate George and his wife on paying off their house.
Oh, thanks so much, Robert.
On that.
That's very kind.
Well, my question is about retiring earlier than I had planned. I'm 61 years old. My husband is 67, and he was recently diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's.
I'm so sorry.
I had planned to retire at 65, but now I'm thinking I may have to either go part-time or fully retire earlier than that.
Why would you need to retire early?
Well, right now he's fully functional, but I don't know how long he will be because, with the dementia and Alzheimer's, you can't predict a timeline.
Yeah, it's an absolute demon. I want to take a second and just say I'm so sorry. That's so hard. Walk us through your financial picture here. I hate that this is a part of the conversation, but it is, right? It's part of it.
Everyone's giving me all this advice on caring for someone with dementia, but it's the financial issue.
There's a reality to it.
Yeah, it's reality. We're debt-free, including our home.
Awesome.
Currently, our household income is about $106,000.
Is that combined income or just yours?
That's combined. That includes his Social Security.
Okay.
We have retirement account that's worth about $930,000.
How much is your house worth?
About 250 to 275 range.
So I'm talking to a millionaire, right?
Yeah, I'm a everyday millionaire.
Very cool. Yes, or baby steps millionaire.
Baby step millionaire.
There you go. So, if you reduce your income and go to half, what is that going to do to your overall take-home pay?
Let's see. I was to go part-time from 36 to 24 hours a week would reduce my take-home income to about $57,000.
Okay.
A year.
And what's his Social Security total?
His Social Security
remember the numbers, 27, 33, something like that. I forgot.
His Social Security, if I calculated it correctly, is $6,900 a year.
Oh, okay. That's lower than okay.
The reason, one of my hesitations about leaving the workforce is my insurance, because I don't qualify for Medicare for a few more years.
Right. So is he on your insurance plan?
No, he's not. He's already on Medicare.
Okay.
I have insurance through my employer, which if I go to part-time, I can still maintain my employer-sponsored insurance.
Okay.
So what do you think care looks like in the near future through Medicare?
I'm sorry?
What does that care look like long term? Because right now everyone's at home, but you're saying, do I need to stay home and help take care of him? Is that the situation?
Yeah.
Because right now there's a lot of unknowns, it sounds like. There's nothing in stone.
There are, and, part of the issue is I've always worked nights. I'm a nurse. I've always worked night shift. And I'm sure, you know that with dementia, a lot of people with dementia are fine during the day, but as the evening progresses and they get tired, they start to become confused.
How much of this is already happening, and how much of this is a year, 2 years, an indefinite number of years down the road?
He's just forgetful once in a while.
Okay.
He'll misplace things or forget he has appointments.
Yep.
He's still able to drive, go shopping, just, normal everyday things.
So it sounds like, Robert, the question you're wrestling with is, do I feel a need to make sure I get the most time as long as we've got it?
Yeah.
Or, because the money part sounds like you're clear. I mean, the money sounds like you can pay your bills. You got $1 million in the bank. You got a paid-for house. You're going to, once you get Social Security, you can drop down financially, especially once you are in Medicare years and your insurance is taken care of. That you sound like you're good there. Sounds like a question of, do I want to keep working? Am I going to feel guilty about missing time? You get what I'm headed?
Yes. Yeah, so that's a big thing for me is I'd like us to have, some time together while he's still, reasonably cognitive, okay.
Sure.
I mean, yes, I'm going to stay home and take care of him when he declines, but I'd like us, have a few good years together before that happens. And
could you switch to a day shift?
Plan to do in retirement.
Yeah, is there things you can do professionally? So here's some things I'd love you to dig into professionally. I'd love you to dig in and see if you can go to day shift for a season. Can you try the part-time gig for a while, see how that goes financially, see how that goes at home and at work, and then if it doesn't work, you can swing back? Sounds like as a nurse who's been doing this a long time, you've got a lot of options. The big thing here is, number one, I'm never going to tell somebody, George, work over relationship, work over family, work over time. Time is finite, right? It goes. The other side of it is, as we talked about, there's a financial reality to some of these decisions. It looks like, Robert, y'all have put yourself in a position for just a moment as this. But I don't want you to project things that might happen in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 7 years onto your present reality. Because right now things are pretty good still. It is wise to be making decisions and planning for the future. But right now things are okay. And I don't want you to miss the moments now or make professional decisions now for things that might happen in the future, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I don't want to make decisions based on what ifs and maybes and 5 years from now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right.
And the good news is the financial part. I mean, Robert's done so well financially following the baby steps that the money's not really a stressful part of the equation right now.
Right.
It's more about the relational aspect of, okay, and retiring early at 61, he's ready to retire if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a healthy guy. He can keep working.
Yeah.
We need nurses out there, but
oh God, we need nurses.
like you
out
mentioned,
there.
He's got options, and that changes the situation.
And so if you are young and you're listening to this, those options that Robert at 61 is looking at started years ago, right? Started with little decisions made years ago to retire, to pay off your house, and to do things the right way. So, Robert, we'll be thinking about you, brother. That's it for this hour of The Ramsey Show. We'll be back soon. We hope to talk to you all right here on The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show.
You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where we talk about money, your life, your mental health, your relationships, all of it. I'm John Deloney, joined here by my good friend George Campbell, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225, and we are waiting for you to give us a shout. The phone lines are open, and the call is free, and the advice is worth about that much.
$100,000, easily.
I'm going to go with free.
Okay.
Let's go to Gio in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Gio, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you very much for taking my call, and I really appreciate that, guys.
You got it, brother. What's up?
So basically, I'm calling in because I'm planning to open a pool company. I have heard Dave Ramsey say that we can get the pools or acquire a company without having the financial backing, but basically working the product out or working the business out with the owner and then trying to pay it off that way. What I'm calling is, how would I get more clarity on how would I go about it to get to that one point that I want to be, and what process do I need to do as well, too?
So let me get this straight. You want to buy a business?
Yeah, so basically I want to buy a business or a pool route, and basically instead of paying cash for it, I've heard Dave Ramsey say that you could basically say, hey, instead of paying cash, then you could kind of work that one area down to pay down the debt, or basically not include any debt of any kind, basically.
So it's more like, hey, I'll buy this business for $200,000 and I'll pay you $20,000 a year for 10 years. Out of the profits.
Yes, exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily going with a $200 mark, something more smaller that's a little bit more plausible per se, yeah.
Sure. So what kind of money are we talking here? What's this business going to cost?
So basically I'm trying to see if I could invest maybe about 5 to 10 grand, I want to say maybe would be 20 to 30 pools, if anything. But I wanted to see how could I structure it so I don't get in debt, and that would be a little bit more successful as well, too.
Well, I'm curious, why do you want to buy a business versus just starting your own pool business?
Just because of the ease of the process, since I do the pool business now as far as with another company, I've noticed that when you're out there and you're kind of communicating with the customer, it's a lot more difficult to kind of start something off the ground when it's a little bit smaller versus once they see the bigger numbers or they hear the bigger numbers. And that's why I'm kind of getting stuck in the situation saying, hey, I feel like I need to get the business in order to get the little customers. But then also, I don't know if I'm even going the right way about it with all this question. Well, not the question, but that's just the uncertainty of the situation.
Yeah, Gio, I don't buy that. I buy you. I don't buy what you're being told.
Okay.
Because there's going to be big market players, right? You're going to have I don't know who the big pool guy is in your town or who the big pool company is. But there's going to be people who interface with Gio, and you do an incredible job. You come in under budget and on time. You are respectful. You clean up the area when you get done. You write a thank you note. You send flowers. People will make sure that message gets out. It will be slower, but that message will get out. And often what debt allows us to do is shortcut that process and try to leapfrog our way to the front of the pack. And I get what I get. Are you struggling to find gigs? Are you struggling to drum up business?
The weird part is that I can get the gigs, but when communicating to the customer the value or the worth of the product that I'm trying to give to them, that's where I'm kind of struggling because the prices that I'm giving out are pretty high due to the demand of it. But the communication that I'm having is that I'm not making it worth the price that I'm charging. And that's where I'm kind of getting messed up in the head saying, do I need to get a bigger business or you see bigger, or how should I rethink about this whole thing to kind of be more successful now that you're bringing it up that way? Yeah.
No, I would much rather you sit down with somebody who's going to help you. And I've had to do this here, okay? I'm passionate about mental health. I'm passionate about relational health. I'm passionate about people living good lives. I've also spent the last 20 years with nerds, with academics. We sit around and we talk about theories and we discuss things and practitioners and what works and what doesn't. And in that, over the last 20 years, I've developed a language that I use. And I found when I came to Ramsey Solutions that language doesn't make sense to somebody who doesn't live in that world. And so I've got folks that I've sat with and met with that say, okay, you're trying to say this, say it like that. Here's a way to communicate this to the marketplace. So I'd much rather, before you go buy a brand name, just because you don't think you're big enough or you don't think you're good enough, I want you to sit down I'd rather you pay somebody to help you with your marketing message, help you with your story arc of what am I trying to bring to somebody? How do I build a portfolio so that when I give somebody a price, I also give them 4 references and pictures of before and after, and I show up professionally, and I don't, whatever it is, right? And I don't even fully understand the pool business, but what I'm saying is I don't want you to sell yourself short just because there's a disconnect between how good you are at what you're doing and the way the customer is hearing it right now. Going into debt isn't going to solve that problem. That makes sense?
So that was my fear. And then who would I be talking to in this type of environment? Would I be talking to like some type of, not an investor, but somebody that deals with business, but what section of the business would I be talking? Because that's where I also get closed-minded,
Go ahead.
You just need to get good at sales and marketing. And so we've got resources for you through Entre Leadership. Entre Leadership Elite is our membership program. Our friend Donald Miller has some great books on story brand and marketing made simple. You got to learn some things. I don't think this is a should I buy a business or not. If I'm going to buy a pool, I'm going to go to Geo for $5,000 or the big business for $5,000. I don't see any more value because it's a bigger name. I'm just looking at the numbers here. And so you can start this business on your own and move slow like John's talking about, do it without debt, get better at sales and marketing, and then you own it instead of owing some other guy for the next 10 years and realize, I don't even want to do this anymore.
I want to see you. Stay on the line, Gio, and we're going to send you a copy of Entre Leadership book, just the art of building a business. And it's not a theory book. It's a step-by-step playbook. Also want you to go to Donald Miller's website and check out his story brand book. He's got a new book out called Hero's Journey that walks you through what kind of life you're leading.
Hero on a Mission.
Hero on a Mission. That's right. Hero on a Mission. And Dave's friend, he's in New York.
Sure.
The marketing guru.
Seth Godin.
Big
fan of Seth Godin.
Go read everything by Seth Godin.
Brilliant.
And he'll walk you through marketing A, B, and C. Most importantly, how to tell your story to the marketplace so they can hear you.
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's go to Doug in Kansas City. Hey, Doug, what's up, brother?
Hey guys, what's going on? I've got a 13-year-old two-door sports car that I've had paid off for about a decade, but I've got a 10-month-old that's getting hard to fit in here, and I'm planning on having another one, which would make this car completely unusable. And so I went looking for cars, and the used cars are outrageous, so I'm wondering, should I tough this out until I have another one and hope the car prices go back to normal, or should I just get a new car?
So, Doug, I'd say, George, you and I are both in the same boat here. I've got a used car that I took to a shop yesterday, or 2 days ago. They gave me a quote, and it's high, and I'm having the car repaired. I did buy my wife a gently used car a few months ago, and it was really expensive, but we had the cash. But I'm choosing to repair my used car that's pretty dang old right now, and I'm going to wait till the prices come back down. So that's what I'm doing in my life.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month.
Triple 825-5225. Hey, George, real quick on that last call, I know it sounded like I wasn't paying attention to what he was calling about, and I tried to tell him what I was doing with my life, and I want to make sure everybody connects the dots here, because my wife tells me sometimes my stories.
You're not a good dot connector?
I don't land all the planes I launch, she said.
Well, you shouldn't drive multiple planes at once, John. That's your first problem.
I know, but there's a lot of cool parts of stories. We just don't always land them all.
Fair.
So the gentleman called and said he's got a two-door car.
I think he said he had a two-door sports car.
Right, and his kid's having a hard time getting into it, right, in and out. And do we just buy something new right now, or do we hang on? And I used my analogy. If I got an old car, man, it's old, and it needs some repairs, and I went ahead and paid. Normally, I wouldn't have paid as much as I'm paying for the repairs, but the market's bonkers right now, right? And so what I was trying to get at is I'd ride it out. The car works. You're able to get where you're going. It is uncomfortable getting in and out. It's a pain. Roll your eyes about it. Make some jokes about it. Actually, come up with some sort of metric or something so your child can see you saving money for the next car. They can be a part of that process. And then, man, wait for the car prices to go back down if the thing's running.
Yeah, it's not an emergency. And when I look at emergencies, I go, is it urgent? Is it necessary? Is it unexpected? And this one may be necessary, but the urgency and is it unexpected? No. You can ride this out. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But it's safe.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to go wrong here. And so this used car market, there's no deals to be had, and you're paying over market price. And, who knows, 6 months from now, a year from now, things might calm down. Right. Or you just save up and go, all right, we've had enough. We've saved up enough. We're just going to buy a car, even though it's not a great price.
Right.
Because we need it.
There you go.
And so that's what I would do if I was in his shoes. Keep saving. And if you really, really get sick of it and you're in a good spot to just buy a car outright, then do it.
There you go. All right, Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Rules and restrictions apply.
Today's question comes from Michelle in South Carolina. She says, my 17-year-old grandson was removed from an emotionally and physically abusive home. He's now in our care. Prior to being removed, his father would keep all of the money my grandson earned at his job. Now, he's worried about saving his money in the bank because he doesn't trust not having his money in his hand. What is the best way for us to teach him how to handle his money?
So, Michelle, first and foremost, thank you for being the kind of grandparents that will take in an abused grandson. That's hard, and it's a challenge. A 17-year-old grandson that's been emotionally and physically abused needs somebody that loves him deeply and will walk alongside him. So it's easy to look at this kind of question, George, and ask it as a money question, as a tactics question. What I see here is a young man who has been bathed in trauma his whole life, right? Whether it's neglect, whether it's physical and emotional abuse, whether it is any sort of parental addiction, any number of things, this kid's been through it. And so his understanding of what is safe and what is quote unquote the right thing and smart, it was completely wiped out because the people who were the two people that he was supposed to be able to count on, mom and dad, didn't show up. And in fact, they didn't show up, they hurt him, right? And so when we talk about this kind of fear, this kind of trust challenges, we're talking about amygdala. We're talking about safety. This kid needs to learn how to feel safe in his own body. He needs to learn how to feel safe with the people around him. And this is a long healing journey, right? I want to focus on, this is going to sound I want to focus on getting this kid great trauma counseling. I want to focus on if he is willing to accept it, a lot of physical contact, right? Holding hands, going for walks, looking him in the eye, hugs, talking, listening, right? We're talking about basic physiological safety here. If you want to teach him about money, I would focus not on conversations, not on more words and tactics. I would have him sit at the table with you while you and your husband do your budget. Right? I would have him go to the bank with you, and instead of you doing online banking for a year, I want you to go to the bank and take him with you and meet the banker, sit in a banker office and get new check. I mean, we're talking going old school here, but we are teaching him safety. We're not teaching him money tactics, right? And he's going to need a new picture for how to do things.
This is bigger than just, can I trust a bank? This is, can I trust anyone?
Can I trust my body? Can I trust myself, right? Because the core trust that we have is that mom and dad will love us and show up for us, and his didn't, right? And so again, I want to circle back, Michelle, and say you are a saint and an angel. So is your husband. I'm so grateful that y'all are stepping in this young boy's life. He needs some good trauma counseling. He's going to need to relearn how to feel safe in his body. And he's going to need new pictures of what safety looks like, of what good choices look like. He's been taught to probably his whole life. He needs some pictures. And you guys walking alongside him as he learns what a bank even does, what he learns what a trustworthy adult even looks like. That's going to be the way you turn this thing around.
And then at the very end of that, we can talk about how your money's safer in a bank than under your mattress, right?
That's exactly
if the house catches on fire, your money's gone. And the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, they've got you covered up to $250,000 per person per account, right? That's the nerdy stuff. But like you're saying, John, we can't just spit those facts at him right now and make him feel safe with his money. That's not the problem.
In fact, it will work against you, right? Then your body alarms will sound a little bit louder sometimes. All right, let's go to Harrison in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Harrison, what's going on?
Hey, guys. I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Outstanding. What's up?
All right. So I've got a quick question here. So not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, I was on baby step 3, but somebody ran a red light and totaled my car.
Oh, no.
And it wiped out my emergency fund. And I'm kind of just struggling to figure out where to go from here.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I was just really sore afterward, but.
Yeah. So what happened with the emergency fund? Where did that money go towards? Did you have insurance? Because it sounds like it was their fault, and their insurance should pay all of the bills here, right?
Well, there was no witnesses, and the police report said no one is at fault, or he couldn't put anyone particularly at fault because he wasn't there to see it happen.
And did you just have liability coverage on your car?
Yeah.
Okay. So, George, speaking here, I'm going to tell you something that's not going to feel great, but hopefully in good time you'll see that it is. This is exactly why you have an emergency fund, for this moment, for emergencies. And it's really hard when you have worked and clawed and scratched and finally filled up an emergency fund, and it becomes a badge of honor, right, George? I mean,
you don't want to touch that thing.
Yeah, you flex. It's like, yeah, that's what's up. That's the foundation I'm leaning on. And we forget that it's designed for this exact moment when somebody runs a red light and smokes your car and you got to go get something. Otherwise, the alternative here, let's go to alt reality. You are at some dealership buying an overpriced car with a car note, right? You would have had to go get a loan if you hadn't have already put this work in. And so, Harrison, I'm suggesting, man, this sucks. This is hard. And good for you, brother. You set yourself up for just this moment. And I want you to exhale and be like, yeah, that's true. And then you got to go back to the bottom and start over and start saving your money again.
Yeah. So what's your car situation now?
Well, I've got a relative of mine had a vehicle that wasn't running, and they said basically I can drive it as long as I need it if I get it fixed. So I've got everything fixed on it, and I should get it Saturday.
I bet you look pretty cool in this thing. What is it?
It's a 98 Toyota Camry.
Oh, you do not look cool in that. I retract my statement.
That thing will run forever.
That's what this call's about. You're not mad about your you're not heartbroken about your emergency fund. You're just heartbroken about driving an old Camry.
Dude, get that emergency fund back in place. Get the right insurance in place. Get a dash cam for your car, even on the Camrys. This never happens again. And then save up and upgrade your car over time. That's what I would do if I was in your shoes. I, in fact, just got a dash cam a few weeks ago, John, and I love it. I feel so safe.
I want nothing to do with dash cams. The world does not need to know how I drive.
John's a privacy nerd. I love it.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Ever gone through a life emergency you weren't prepared for financially? That definitely includes me. You know that sick to your stomach, sweaty palms feeling all too well. As a parent, you hope your child never has to go through an experience like that. But teaching teenagers how to be smart with money before they make dumb mistakes like we did can feel like a big job. You don't have to resort to the school of hard knocks to teach your kids about money. With our digital self-study courses, your teen will learn the right way to handle money no matter what curveballs life may throw at them down the road. And the best part, no instructor needed. If your teen has a tablet or a computer, they're all set to start learning how to budget, save, and invest, even how to write a resume or start their own business. Before I invested in my kids' business or buy them a car or help them buy a car, I'm going to make them take this course. Parents, get your kids off to a great financial start and go to RamseySolutions.com/self-study to learn more about all of the different courses we have available for your middle or high school kid. It's fantastic.
All the parents said amen.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Crystal in Colorado Springs. What's up, Crystal?
Hey, George and John. How are you?
Phenomenal. How are you?
Good. I had a mutual fund question. My husband and I have a mutual fund that is not a retirement account. It's got about $13,000 in it. And we aren't sure if we should leave it alone or if we should put it towards our house or roll it to our kids' college funds.
Okay. So you guys are in baby step 4, 5, 6 right now?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, what's the conversation like? Do one of you want one thing and the other one wants another?
Nope, we're kind of good with any decision. We have $97,000 left to pay on the house. We're anticipating we'll be done with that in 2 years. So it would speed it up maybe about, 3 or 4 months. So it's not like a major one way or the other. It's just kind of a
how
what do
many
you do?
How many kids and how old?
They're 6 and 8.
6 and 8. And are you currently on track? Are you funding that college fund and you feel good about it?
We're funding it right now. There's not a whole lot in each of them. We're mostly focusing on the house. We want to get that out of the way and then kind of...
Well, here's the thing. I think this through and I go, okay, if I attack the house and the house is gone in 2 years, that frees us up to save a whole lot for the next 10 years before they go to college, right?
Right.
So that's my thinking. I free up that house payment, and now we can go full throttle and make sure the kids are taken care of for college, and maybe they'll get some scholarships. They can cash flow some of this, work a little bit. So I'm more on the boat of paying down the house and speeding that process up, knowing the kids are young. If the kids were like 16, 17, and there wasn't much going, I'd say let's put this in there and help them go to college debt-free. But it sounds like that's going to happen because of their age.
Gotcha.
And Crystal, here's one more thing to think through. I've met with, I can't even count them, thousands of college students and their parents over the years. And the most common thing I hear is my kid was dead set on this, and now we're looking at that. Or I thought my kid was going to be interested in this, and now they're interested in that. I can guarantee you, how old are your kids? Say it one more time.
6 and 8.
Yes. The higher education market, everything about higher education is shifting, morphing, turning. And so what it's going to look like in 10 years, nobody knows. And I've got a 6-year-old too. I'm in this exact same boat. What I do have in front of me is a mortgage. That is a known, right? And so I want to clear that up. And then we will begin to invest. We're going to be responsible, still going to put money away, all that kind of stuff like George is talking about. But I know this thing's in front of me, and I have no idea what my kid is going to be like in 10 years.
Yep, that makes sense. And I would love to be done with the house sooner rather than later.
Get done.
Cash it out.
Hey, George, how good does it feel?
So good, John. I can't stress it enough. If you are able to pay off your house, do it. Although we did just get another dog, and so that it feels like another mortgage payment.
That's worse than a mortgage payment.
That's true. I will say that.
That's a whole other show. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Let's go to Andy in Salt Lake City. What's up, brother Andy? How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing well. Better than I deserve, really.
So what's up?
So I'll give you the question, and you guys can ask me for fill-in. So basically, I want to know, my wife and I are trying to decide, do we take $12,000 out of what is a cash e-fund in our account to backfill Roth IRAs that we're just opening up? These are new Roth IRAs, to backfill those for last year, and then we'll start doing monthly. Or do we cash out an employee stock, pay the taxes on that, and use that money to backfill those Roth IRAs, and then we'll continue with our monthly investment?
I had a little hard time hearing you. Tell me where that $12,000 is coming from again.
So we've got cash in the bank. We've got $28,000 in an emergency fund, cash in the bank.
Okay.
Basically, my vote is to rob that of $12,000 and backfill the Roth IRAs, because I think it's a little more emergency money than we need. My wife strongly disagrees.
She disagrees about the emergency fund amount?
About pulling the $12,000 out of that to fund the Roth IRA.
Well, what is a proper emergency fund that you both agree on is the right amount?
To be honest with you, we've been floating, the 3 to 6 months thing. Right now, we're closer to the 6 month end. I just think she's really comfortable there. I'm less concerned, but
that's my thing. It's more about, are you guys on the same page? Because I would tell you, to take that money out first if you're not going to drain the emergency fund. But it sounds like that's going to put her in an uncomfortable position.
It will. She's very uncomfortable with it. I look at
Andy, that should be the end of the conversation.
Yeah. I know my option at this point.
$12,000 for safety and security in my wife's heart is that's a Kmart blue light special deal, brother. I mean, if I could give everybody's spouse safety and peace for $12,000, dude, I would.
I'm going to cash out the employee stock.
Yes.
Just
chill out. Why are you so frantic about backfilling a Roth? Like, it feels like you like. Are you worried about missing something?
Just the interest. So we have done a good job of maintaining our family, of maintaining our budget, keeping our debt down, but we haven't done a great job of investing. I'm 42 years old. I got about 25 years or so, and I want to be able to, I just want to be in a good, comfortable position. I'm not looking to like transfer a ton of wealth or anything, but I do want to live a comfortable life, cover medical, things like that. And we have not done we know we haven't done a good enough job on retirement, so I'm looking to maximize now.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to miss the stocks, and to have those Roth IRAs growing for you for the next 20 years, I'm good with that. But I don't want you draining the emergency fund at the expense of your wife having the security gland flare up, and now we're in another fight because of that.
And I'm going to tell you, Andy,
we already got plenty of those.
Yeah, I am more along your wife's. I want a bigger emergency fund. 6 months is minimum for me. That's a light thing because I spent most of my career working in situations that don't normally happen to people, and most of my day was made up in those situations. I know the wheels fall off. I've been doing that forever, so I'm with her. A bigger emergency fund makes me feel safe. George, you called it out. Andy, what I want you guys to do, planning for retirement, planning for what life is going to look like 25 years, 30 years from now, and reverse engineering that, only starts with you guys getting in a room and dreaming together. Envisioning this thing together, not envisioning in some, let's make a mood board or whatever. But what do we want this thing to look like? And we throw this part out, dude, and I know it's not cool because, like, bro, forget all that. How is it going to feel when we get there? It's cool to say, like, I want to live my life on the beach. You're going to do that for 30 days, and you're going to be bored and sunburned and broke, right? What is it going to feel like whenever we get to wherever it is we want to go? And let that be part of the equation here, right? Yeah. And safety is key, right? Safety is key, especially $12,000, man. Come on. If now I've heard this. My wife says we have to have, or my husband says we have to have, F-350. Like super extended thing for the safety, man, and it's $130,000 because we got to get the Roush package. Wrong. No.
You're trying to justify bro behavior, and I won't have that on this show. I will not.
There you go. But $12,000 in an emergency fund so that your wife can sleep, brother. That is a bargain.
That's not paranoia. That's reality. That's real.
Go to Thomas in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Thomas, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What's up?
Hey, so I guess somebody's question in the simplest terms is, what's the best way that I can save money in kind of the medium term for a down payment on a house or to purchase a house? And I guess more specifically, how can I hide that money for myself so I don't feel inclined to spend it?
That's a great self-aware question. How do I stop myself from plunging into my own savings that I'm working really hard for? So, Thomas, are you debt-free?
I am, yes.
And you've got your fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So what is the timeline for this house purchase?
See, and I think that's part of the problem is that I don't really have a timeline. There's no pressure.
That's even better.
All the financial problems that I've encountered in my life, I learned the hard way, but I learned them really quickly. And because there's not really like a learning moment here for me, I feel like that's maybe why I'm struggling. But
you are wise beyond your years. You just said there's no pressure, and that to me is the key here. If you're not under some urgent timeline, that's usually just a justified excuse of why we have to get a house this year. So how much do you have saved currently for the house?
Including like all my liquid savings or just for the house?
Don't touch the emergency fund. How much do you have outside of that?
I think right now there's probably about $6,500.
Okay. And have you looked at homes in the area that you want to live and what it might take to get a reasonable home there?
Nope, because we're also not exactly sure where we want to go when I finish school.
Ah, okay. Well, here's what I would do. Could you wait 3 years to get a house or more?
Oh, we're planning on probably waiting 5 or 6 years.
Beautiful. Okay, I like this a lot because I want you to graduate while you save up slowly. Take your time with this because you don't even know where you're going to live and what the house will cost. But you can just stack up a whole bunch of cash in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
So, Thomas, can we get real personal for a second?
Absolutely.
It's between me, you, George,
and America,
and a couple million people. So, what does spending give you?
Usually food.
No, you're out of control with it. You get something from it. What does it give you?
I find myself usually I spend money on things that add a level of convenience to my life, and I know that usually whenever I do overspend, or we collectively, my wife and I overspend, it usually is going out to eat or something like that, just because we just don't want to go home and cook, or whatever the case might be. So I think it's just that level of convenience. It's usually services and things of that nature.
Okay, so we're not talking about a pathology here. We're not talking about you have a clinical diagnostic. You have a clinical issue with being able to control your behavior. This is a question of intentionality. You just don't. What's the old quote? If you don't have a goal that you're aiming for, you'll get there every time.
If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time.
There you go.
Way better when I say it.
Yeah, that was well done. So here's what I really want you guys to do, and I feel like I'm a resounding gong. I say the same thing over and over and over again. But I want you and your wife. How long have y'all been married?
6 years.
Okay, I want y'all to go out together. Whether it's like my wife and I we like to do breakfast. We both wake up early and our minds are still clear in the morning. Go spend a couple or 2 or 3 hours together and do an inventory. Like, here's the last 6 years. We've been in school, been running around. We've paid some stuff off, but here's kind of where we are. And then take inventory of where you are. Do you still like me? Do I still like you? Of course you do, but here's where we are. And then spend the bulk of your time, if you don't sabotage yourself with that second question, spend the bulk of your time, where do we want to be? And you and your wife need to come away with 3 or 5 or 7 value statements. Here's who we are, and here's what it's going to take to get there. And one of those value statements might be, we are going to be home owners and have no mortgage debt in 10 years. And so walking backwards, or no, actually a value statement will be, we are homeowners. We are people who have roots in a community. And what does that mean? We need to buy a house. What does that mean? We got to start saving our money up. You've got to have some goals and some identities with which you are directing your actions toward. Does that make sense?
It does.
It sounds like you are tired and relatively aimless. And you have a bunch of that'd be cool, and we want to do this, we want to do that. You haven't written anything down. You've got no way to hold you or her accountable, and vice versa, because you haven't taken the time to put stuff in concrete and say, let's go do that, go do this.
I agree with that statement.
Okay. Thomas, let me put a picture to this and tell you exactly what me and my wife did. We started off our marriage debt-free, and we decided we want to put as much down on our first home as possible. So we kept saving like crazy people for our first year of marriage while renting, and we were able to put down 45% on our home, which then allowed us to pay it off in 26 months. And so that's part of what you need to start driving towards, is like John is saying, is have that goal. Say, we want to save up $100,000 over the next 3 years. How are we going to do that? We're going to buckle down on the budget, which means we're not going to spend over here. We're not going to eat out as much. We're going to enjoy our lives a little bit, but we're really focused on this goal so that when I get out of school and we're working, our income goes up, man, we're going to go full throttle. We're going to be able to put 25, 30% down on this house. And so you start to really make this reality. You start driving towards that, and you guys are going to do amazing things. But like John's saying, you've got to get focused on this thing. So that's what we did, John. And for saving down a down payment, I'll tell you this. If it's going to be 3 to 5 years, Thomas, you can park that in index funds so that your money can grow a little bit.
There you go.
That's what we did, and it helped us a little bit to see that money grow. You feel like you're making extra progress thanks to compound interest. Now, if it's under that, if you're looking at a 2-year, 3-year time horizon, I would park it in a high-yield savings account, and it's going to make, pennies on the dollar, and you deal with it, and that's fine, but it's at least parked outside of your normal bank account. That's what I don't want. You said it yourself. I don't want to be able to touch this thing. And so I like having it in a separate bank with a separate company altogether, so that you're less likely to do that. But you set that goal of $100,000 and say, all right, 3 years, what's that take? $33,000 per year. What's that going to take? This much per month. What's our income? How much can we put towards this thing? And start to set a real goal on paper and use that budget to drive you towards that.
I think underneath it, and again, I'm ripping this off from James Clear. I'd never heard it outlined this way, and I love it. Beneath you and your wife's goal was a decision that as a value, an identity of our home, of our marriage, of who we're going to be, is that we're going to do hard things together. We're going to unify. We are unified in setting hard goals, and we go get them, right? And there's something about getting with your spouse, getting with anybody in your life that you do life with, and saying, who are we going to be? And then let's go get that stuff. Because most of us start with a goal, and we don't have an identity that backs that goal up. We just have a bunch of tasks, and you end up spinning your wheels. Why am I even doing this? Let's just order extra appetizers and get another round, and then let's do another round. And all of a sudden, you've blown through your month's food budget on one meal because it wasn't about value. It was just about some knickknacks. Right? I see it a lot of times people try to lose weight. It becomes obsessively about this number on a scale, not about a person who's trying to be a steward of their body or someone who wants to be able to roll around with their grandkids, right? Value statements. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's driving towards a bigger vision than, well, my wife wants me to lose weight, so I guess I should lose weight. Instead, it's, man, I'd love to be able to play with my grandkids outside.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
I'd love to take an extra mile on my walks in the evenings with my husband. I'd rather, it becomes about so much more, right? Or I'm a guy who takes good care of the one precious body I have. That's a good place to start any sort of life change.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that loves my grandkids who I haven't even met yet so much that I'm going to take care of my knees and hips now so that I can wrestle in 30 years. That kind of value statement, an identity statement, is deep.
That's huge. And with home ownership, a lot of times there's outside pressure. It's, well, my dad says I should be in a house by now because I'm 32.
Right.
And when he was my age, he already had his house paid. There's all these outside pressures, and when you start to peel it back and go identity-based, it changes your motivation.
And then you get somebody like Thomas, who's not even done with school, and he's already like, I don't know where we're gonna live. I gotta get a house. I can't not spend that money. Yeah, put these steps in the right order, do them one at a time, and start with who am I gonna be? Who are we gonna be? It's another hour in the books. Good job, George. You're getting better. I'm just kidding. You're so much better than me at this. I feel like I'm making this thing up on the fly. Thanks to James Childs and Ben Hill and Jenna Sears. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your relationships, your mental health, your money, anything and everything. We're here for you. I'm John Deloney, joined by my good friend George Camel, and we are taking your calls on pretty much anything at 888-825-5225. Give us a buzz, and we will help you out the best we can. The call is free, and that's about what the advice is worth. So let's go to Kayla in Indianapolis, Indiana. What's up, Kayla? How are you doing?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great. What's up?
So, hopefully you guys don't shred me too hard for this.
Oh, we're your friend.
I know. So, we did the right thing. We sold our car that we were making payments on. We sold it to Carvana, and they gave us about $8,200, and then we put that towards another used car, a beater, as Dave would call it. So we ended up spending about $5,800 out the door on this Nissan Armada. Looked great on the outside. We had test driven it, and it was doing all right, except the check engine light was on. My husband asked about it, and the guy said it was a battery, and he could get it off. So I drove it home. It drove a little, like a used car. And so we called about it the next morning, and it wouldn't even start. So we called the guy. He said, take it to a mechanic, and he would work out a deal with us on getting it fixed. That sounded fishy to me. My husband's like, okay, so we took it to the mechanic. Turns out the subframe is completely ruined. There's a hole in the exhaust pipe that's leaking water onto the subframe, making it even worse, just terrible to drive, unsafe. And he's just told us it's completely toast. So my husband went into the dealership today, talked to them, and he laughed him out of the dealership, basically. Do we have any room to sue them? I mean, what can we do? Like, I'm putting my trust in God fully, and I know it's going to be all right, but I'm a little furious, and I want to see if we have any room to do anything about this.
Oh, okay. So there's no way we're going to shred you over this, okay? This stinks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're out about $5,800.
Yeah.
The guy told us he inspected it, then he told us he didn't. My husband recorded him saying he did get it inspected, but he couldn't find the inspection report somehow.
Right. So you can go to small claims court. You can sue them, and I can't give you legal advice, but you can contact a lawyer in your local area and go down that road if you'd like to.
Okay.
I would recommend adding up or getting some really clear written, right? You've learned the importance of that. Clear written, a written contract about what legal advice is going to cost, what going to small claims court would look like, what settling would look like. I mean, I don't know what the recording laws are in Indianapolis. Is it a one-party state or a two-party state, right?
It is a one-party state.
Okay. So all that to say is you can go down that road. It's not – maybe he gets a letter, a demand letter from an attorney, and he writes you a check and gives you your money back. Maybe that's what happens. Probably not.
That's what I've read usually would happen if he were found to be in the wrong.
Probably not.
Okay.
Let me just say, if I'm you, yes. I've got buddies who are attorneys. I worked at law school for years, so I would have somebody write a letter, and I'd pay them, and they would write a letter and see what happens there.
Okay.
I also would be prepared, both spiritually and psychologically and emotionally, for this to be a painful $5,800 lesson.
Yeah.
That you knew driving that car off the lot that something wasn't right in it. And it was a big car, and Armadas are cool, and they're big, and we got a good deal on it. And now you know I'm never driving a car off the lot with a check engine light on. I'm never driving a car off the lot without an inspection in my hand. I'm never, right? So you learned all these things. And if you look on the arc of your life, how old are you?
I'm going to be 30 in September.
Okay. In 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, $5,800 for the lesson you've learned here, because this is going to impact how you buy a house. It's going to impact how your kids go to college. It's going to impact everything because you learned a hard lesson here. And everyone I know has made them. Dave's made them with millions, right? You've made one with $5,800. This will be a lesson that pays for itself over and over and over again. I don't want you to beat yourself up over this, okay?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
I know you are.
I've, cried out today because this sucks. We only have $2,200 in our savings because we're in financial peace right now.
Yes. And you and your husband, y'all are good people. You would never do this to somebody. And you just ran into a scumbag, an absolute cheater scumbag who ripped off a young family. And it hurts because you don't even know people like that. And often when you run into someone who's just a scumbag like this, and you've heard me say this probably before, you lose trust in other people, but more importantly and more damaging, you lose trust in that beautiful, brilliant person that you see in the mirror every morning. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a $5,800 lesson, and it sucks, and it hurts. And hopefully you can find a lawyer. You got somebody at your church that'll write you a letter, and maybe this person coughs up your money, and it's all over, and you learn that lesson too. But I don't want you to lose trust in yourself. This hurts and this is hard, but you will work through this. And I know y'all are busting it so hard. This stings, man.
Kayla, I'm so sorry you're going through this. It makes me mad.
Yeah, I'm pissed for you.
And I would definitely push on this dealership to make this thing right and do all the things that John said. That was really, really well said. But a lot of this stuff is going to be, well, the contract says as is. And when we sign that thing, this is what we got. And so like John said, we're not here to beat you up. We love you. And I just want to help you move forward and make sure that you guys have a car to drive. Are you in a situation where you don't have a car now?
So my husband has a car, but we have a toddler and an infant. I'm on maternity leave right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get my toddler to school at 9. My husband has to be at work. He's a general manager of the Hilton. So he has to be there to open the doors or to manage all his employees early in the morning. Then he would have to come back home, get my son, take him to school, then go back to work. And it just interferes with a bunch of things. So we were trying to get another car.
Yeah. You guys have a church community right now?
We do, yeah. We're in a wonderful church.
I would get plugged in with them. I would talk to one of the pastoral care folks over there and say, hey, here's our situation. Is there someone who would just let us borrow a car while we get on our feet, or would sell us one for $1,000 a beater to get us around just to get through the situation? That's one of those things where having a community like that can be so, so powerful to walk with you through this journey.
And I know that's humbling and that's hard and that's annoying. And you did this thing right, Kayla. You did it right. You sold your car. You were going to pay off some debt.
I know, and that's what sucks is I know I did it right, and I got taken advantage of.
You did. Y'all got burned, and you didn't listen to yourself. Are you ever going to make this mistake again?
I told my husband, I said, I don't like that engine light's on, and I don't like how he answered that question. And he's like, well, we said it could either be 50-50 chance. So, I mean, I should have just trusted my gut.
Always trust your gut.
Trust
always.
Kayla is trustworthy.
Kayla is trustworthy. This scumbag used car salesman selling cars being like, nah, bro, it's cool, is not. Trust your gut.
And don't trust check engine lights, ever.
Ever.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Triple 825-5225. Let's go to Jamie in Springfield, Illinois. What is up, Jamie?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I have an issue that I wanted like an external opinion on.
I've got a bunch of them, so let's trade.
We are external.
You go first.
So I live in a rental, and I've lived here I'm right at the end of my year lease. My landlord told me Sunday that she needs to move back in here. I have until March to find somewhere. The problem is I've exhausted every possible rental option within like an hour of my workplace, and there is nothing. So
Like nothing, or
there is nothing. Like I've asked everybody I know. They have asked everybody they know. I have looked everywhere on the internet. There is nothing. It's a very rural area that I'm in.
Okay.
And so options are limited anyways. And I also have 2 dogs. So it makes it really hard to find anything. And to top that off, I'm like right at the beginning of baby step 2. So buying isn't an option. So I have 2 options. My boyfriend has offered for me to move in there, but I feel like he's not really ready, and I think he offered because he feels kind of obligated. Every time I try to talk to him about it, he doesn't really want to talk about it. Like I try to figure out the logistics, and he doesn't really want to talk about it. My other option is I move 6 hours south to where my parents and my grandma are. They really want me to do that. They're more than happy to help me get on my feet on the ground there. And
what do you do for a living?
The issue with that, I work for a hog production company, which is the other thing. I make really good money right now, better than I'll probably make anywhere down there.
You make hogs?
So I'd be leaving. I work for a pork production company, so I basically, we make hogs.
Wow. Making the bacon.
I knew it.
Pretty much.
That was the worst joke ever.
Sorry. I'm not even a dad.
So
I'm a dog
I would be leaving
dad.
a really good paying job and probably my boyfriend to move down there. So I'm kind of scared.
Okay, let's address these in order, okay? And George, please hop in any moment. Number 1, did you just hear the last call?
I did not.
Okay. Thanks for listening and paying attention to the show. I'm just kidding. All right, so here's the deal. Here's the deal.
She's working, John.
The call ended with us telling a woman who's about to be 30. How old are you?
I am 24.
Okay, 24. Y'all are same age-ish. She did not trust her gut. And she bought a car that she knew, there's something not right about this. And her husband was like, nah, it's cool. And the used car salesman was like, nah, it's cool. And she didn't trust her gut. You know that moving in with your boyfriend is stupid. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So for the sake of your relationship, for your mental health, for any sort of downstream trauma that's going to come from this, let's take that off the table for just a second, okay? You know that I understand getting desperate and trying to figure things out, and let's fast forward. I get that. Let's take it off the table for a second. Do you like where you live right now?
I mean, not really. Like, I'm not really attached to where I live, and I don't enjoy my job. Like, the money I make is awesome, but I'm not really, like, attached to anything here except for my boyfriend.
What? And he's not really attached to you, by the way.
Yeah.
So
I know.
What's 6 hours away?
So my parents live in southern Missouri, like right on the Arkansas border.
Uh-huh.
My parents, my grandma are all down there, and my niece.
Your voice changes when you talk about moving there. It's subtle, but there's something about, what is it about there that lights you up a little bit?
I guess my family.
So I don't see a way around this, what I'm about to say. Any way you slice this, you have a couple of hard decisions to make. Is it time at 24 to go live with family for a season? Is it time to just keep plowing away at a job that I hate, that I'm going to look up and be 48 and be like, what did I do? I just made a bunch of hogs. I don't even know how you do that, by the way. Are you going to keep running around with a boyfriend that is not nearly as into you as you are into him? There's no way to not have a hard decision to make here. So anytime I'm faced with a series of not great options and I got to make some hard calls, I'm always going to go back to my values. Who am I and what am I about? And what do I actually want to do with my one tiny, precious little life? And what I'm hearing in a 3-minute phone call is that you want to go be around your family, and we'll figure out the job, we'll figure out the housing, we'll figure that stuff out. And that you know the situation with your boyfriend is rough. You know you're making hogs and making good money, but you don't like it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jamie, how much money do you make?
I make like $39,000 a year.
God almighty on a stick, Jamie. I thought you made $500,000. You can make $30,000.
That's what I was getting at. You can make that and live closer to your parents. You can switch careers. It's not too late. You're 24 years old. You could work for another 40 years. You could have 17 different careers. I've had 17 different careers.
Inside this building.
Inside the building. So, right. Jamie, I feel like you've backed yourself into this corner that isn't really a corner. but in your mind, you're stuck with no options. Either I move 6 hours away or I live with the pigs, right? Like there's more options than that. And it feels like you've exhausted it because you're tired and you don't want to be in the situation and you want things to be better. But truthfully, if you found another place to live, your life still wouldn't be great.
So can I reframe this for you, Jamie?
Yes.
There's some remarkable research out about stress and mindset around stress. Andrew Huberman's put out some great stuff recently on this idea of stress and the way we approach it. And there is some significant benefit to receiving a stressful situation, like your landlord coming home or coming and saying, hey, I'm giving you your 30-day notice, I need my place back. If you look at that as an opportunity as a 24-year-old, hardworking, resilient, brilliant young woman to say, oh, awesome, I didn't like this job anyway, I don't even like where I live, I get to go have an adventure now. Or you look at the stress of that 30-day notice as, my life is trapped. There is a physiological consequence to that. It stresses your body out. But there's something bigger than that. There's opportunity cost one way and opportunity lost on the other. I want you to spend some time with you and nothing else but you and a journal. Okay? And I want you to write down what an adventure could look like. What would my life look like? I want you to begin to see this in pictures, not just words. I want you to see it in pictures and write this stuff down, draw it out. I'm get super nerdy like we're middle schoolers again. And I want you to imagine life in Missouri and say, does this bring me peace? Can I start a career there? Can I get plugged back in with my family? Can I find things that I want to do? Maybe go back to school and learn a new like I've done my years with the Hogs. Now it's time to go, right? I want you to spend some time saying, what do I actually want? And that's going to frame whether you have to have a hard conversation with your boyfriend or whether you double down your search because, no, I'm staying with the Hogs. I love my community. I'm going to stay here. Do you get where I'm headed?
Yeah.
And my gut tells me this is way, way more about boyfriend than housing. Am I right?
I guess. I mean, there really isn't anything to rent, but that was more the issue, I guess, than housing. Yeah.
Housing sounds annoying. The boyfriend sounds existential. How long have y'all been dating?
A year.
Okay. Yeah, that's hard, man. Because you kind of made plans, didn't you? You had some plans?
Yeah.
That's so hard. I'm so sorry. That's hard. We are 100% in your corner, Jamie. Don't quit your job before you got a place to live, and don't race off and do anything rash. I want you to spend some time thinking this out. For me, for the folks I work with, writing this stuff down, getting it out of your head, whether it's in a journal or on a Word document, I don't care, a notes app on your phone, I don't care. Get it out of your head and look at it and begin to ask yourself, what do I want to do? Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Alex in St. Petersburg, Florida. Are we going to run up against the clock? Yeah, we're running up against the clock. I don't want to do that.
That's good, John. Self-awareness.
I'm learning
That's great.
here.
James is very happy in the
There
booth.
we go. Hey, it's time to put 2021 behind us. Oh, no, we're even coming up on the music. One day, hey, listen, listeners.
You can't catch a break, John.
No, I can. I just need to get better at this. That's all. I'm working on it. I'm going to get there.
I'm here for you.
All right, so we get back. We're going to take more calls, and I'm going to read this all in the same segment.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Teamwork.
Somebody does. We'll be right back on the Ramsey Show. It's time to put 2021 behind us. Last year left a lot of people feeling burned out and sluggish. Eeyore was their spirit animal. But 2022 is a fresh start, and this is your wake-up call. If you're ready to own this year and actually accomplish your goals with money, your career, your life, we have the plan to get you there. You can make 2022 your best year yet. We're running our New Year's sale right now so you can get up to 73% off our best-selling books, assessments, and envelopes. That includes my brand new book, or Dave's brand new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, that will show you the quickest, right way to become a millionaire. Or if you're looking for a better way to manage your cash, especially in categories that always blow up your budget like food, pick up our popular Essential Cash Envelope Systems. Maybe you're having a hard time bouncing back from the last 2 wild years. You should start 2022 with my best-selling quick read, Redefining Anxiety, to learn what anxiety is, what it's not, and how to get your life back. And here's the deal. It's only $10. So visit the online store at RamseySolutions.com/store to get serious and make real progress. But hurry, the sale ends soon.
Good stuff, John. So before we go to some calls here, our most excellent producer, James Childs, sent us this article that is fascinating from Forbes. Here's the title. If there's no student loan cancellation, student debt strikes could be next.
Awesome.
This is juicy stuff. So Senator Elizabeth Warren has obviously been pushing for this student loan cancellation wide scale. But what if they don't? What if it doesn't work? Are student debt strikes next? That is the question posed here in this article. I don't know what the strike would look like. Is everyone just going to stop paying and see what happens? Is that the goal here?
I guess the idea is if enough people just say we're not paying, then we're just going to stop paying. We'll show you.
It's an interesting idea. And it continues on to say, well, should you stop paying your student loans? Well, remember, your student loans are tied to a promissory note, which is a financial obligation to repay student loans. If you choose to not repay your loans, your credit score could be damaged, your wages could be garnished, and you may be impacted financially. They go on with some alternative options of repayment plans, repayment options, applying for forgiveness, considering bankruptcy, pursuing public service loan forgiveness. I don't love these options, John.
Right. It's not a lot of great options right now.
Yeah.
My concern with this, George, and tell me what you think about it, is I've worked in colleges for my whole career. I know about student loans intimately, right? I've had my own 6 figures worth of loans to pay back. The challenge is any sort of resolution we have, whether we say, forget you guys, we got to pay this all back, whether we say, hey, as a country, we're just going to say, hey, this was a bad deal, we're going to wipe 10,000, we're going to wipe 50,000, whatever the number is. The problem as I see it is so deep because we don't have a solution for college next semester. What are we going to, if Biden came out today and just said, no more loans, the kids signing up for summer school are right back on the machine again, right? And so until you solve that problem, I struggle with the solution, right? It's like I don't know, like I've only got 3 tires on my car, and I'm like, we got to get a 4th tire, and then stop driving first, and then let's put this tire on. So that may be the worst analogy ever in the history of analogies.
It was a good visual.
Thank you for that. That's my problem, is that we are trying to solve this thing out of order.
Yeah, we explored this issue in the Borrowed Future documentary, which you were featured in. You had some great things to say. Dave was featured in it, of course. And it really just points back to this idea that, we're not anti-forgiveness and relief. We're not here to keep people hurting. But if we don't stop the source of the hurt, then we're not really helping a lot of people.
Yeah, one of the foundations of my counselor education was, as a counselor, you are constantly helping people out of the stream every day who have fallen in. At some point, you have an ethical responsibility to go upstream and find out who keeps shoving people in. Why do people keep falling in up here, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where we are, is we're sitting downstream and we've got almost $2 trillion worth of people drowning in student loan debt. We got to go upriver and stop the problem up here, and then we can be about solving these downstream challenges.
Yeah, we got to turn off the faucet first, because right now we're just got a bucket and we're trying to shovel out all the water while it's still just pouring down. And so that's a better analogy than your tires.
It's an infinitely better analogy than
But we
tires.
talk about this in Borrowed Future of how this whole thing came to be, and how Sallie Mae was actually part of a government entity, and how it all got out of control. And it's so fascinating that at the end of the day, the government needs to stop making the loans if we're going to talk about forgiveness.
And I read a flyby statistic the other day that said just the student loan pause cost the federal government $100 billion last year. $100 billion.
And who's paying for that, John?
All of us are, right?
Ding, ding, ding.
All of us.
So we're basically saying, hey, let's relieve the burden off of us and put it onto our children and our children's children, and they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it
But
out.
we want relief now. And so I understand the pain and the anger towards the student loan system and your own personal
We've
student
both
loans.
been there.
We both have student loans.
Oh, man.
I get it. But here's what I found. A better way to live your life is to realize that you are in the driver's seat. You can take control. You can pay them off. And then you don't have to hope that a student debt strike works. You don't have to hope that the next president solves all of your problems. Yeah. And that is the biggest game changer to me, is realizing that and putting yourself in the driver's seat instead of the back seat going, well, we're going wherever the driver takes us.
And I also am sympathetic to, good grief, a young family just trying to figure out life, and they just look at their budget, and they are both making a pretty good salary for a starting wage, and they can't make the ends meet. Like, my heart is broken because I've been there. I've paced my house at night when my wife was asleep wondering, I don't know what bill we're not going to pay. I don't know how this works, because I was young and I had a lot of student loan debt. So I've been there too, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing's a mess. And anytime there's a mess in my world, you flip the lights on and you stop the music and you say, all right, let's take inventory. What's going on in this party? And then we'll start figuring out who's got to leave, right? And I think we got to start there. We got to flip all the lights on and say, we got to solve the problem way upstream.
Or you just burn it down for the insurance money.
Don't do that. Don't do that. On that positive note, we'll go to Alex in St. Petersburg, Florida. What's up, Alex?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great. How are you, brother?
Good. I got a situation. We're looking for advice. So I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and we have our third on the way. And actually, my brother-in-law just came over, who's going to be listening. So I just want to say, surprise, we're having our third baby.
Hey, hold on.
So
Alex,
a little bit.
You have a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and another one on the way?
Correct, yes.
Brother. I'm telling you, listen, you're going to sleep again one day. It's going to be years from now, but you're going to sleep, and it's going to be great. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so what's up?
So my wife is a travel nurse now. She just started, and I've been home with the boys. So obviously with her being pregnant, we're trying to decide, should we buy a house here because we need to get a bigger house? We have about $60K in debt, but it's only student loans and our 2 cars. So with us traveling, what she's going to be making per week, we can pay it off in no problem. So we're just we want a home base for us, for us to come back to in Florida, because we plan on traveling, maybe across the country, even with the little guys and everything. So I know it's going to be a lot, but the money, we understand, is going to be life-changing now and rewarding later.
Alex, hold the phone, brother. You just flew by the fact that you had $60,000 in student loan debt and 2 car loans?
No. That's student loan debt and including the 2 cars, yeah.
Oh, $60K total.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was just very nonchalant. You were just like, yeah, all we got is just $60K in debt, but other than that, we're fine. We're going to go ahead and buy it. And so I just want to pause here and tell you that you're not in a position right now to buy a house. Do you have any money saved?
With just the emergency fund. I mean, we've been killing it. So she, with the travel assignment, she recently started. She's making about $4,000 a week. So we're
awesome.
We're gonna kill it in a short period of time. So that's what leaves me with us traveling. Once we finish, because there's an end date to the contract. Do we come back to the house that we purchased, or do we worry about that once we get home?
I think you need to pause, man. You need to get rid of this debt. Before you got the emergency fund, but you still got a pile of debt. We're doing things out of order here. Get rid of the debt, fully fund the emergency fund, be investing, save up for the house, and do it when you're financially ready. I know that's hard to hear. You got 3 kids, man, but that's a tough situation.
And I'm not buying a house while we're on the road.
Nope.
I'm just not. Today's scripture is from Romans 15:2. Our goal must be to empower others to do what is right and good for them and to bring them to spiritual maturity. John Maxwell says, power really is a test of character. In the hands of a person of integrity, it is of tremendous benefit. In the hands of a tyrant, it causes terrible destruction. Wow. I want to read that again. Because George is important. Because power can be if you're the assistant director of the mailroom and you've got 4 people working with you, or if you're the president, or if you're in your home, power is important. Power really is a test of character. In the hands of a person of integrity, it is of tremendous benefit. In the hands of a tyrant, it causes terrible destruction.
You know what you could swap that word with?
Huh?
Money.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I like that.
You like that?
I like that. All right.
Power and money.
Let's go to
hand in hand.
Edie in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What's up, Edie?
Uh-oh. Couldn't hear you.
I can hear you. What's up? So can America.
Good.
What's up, Edie?
Uh-oh.
I have a question for you, and I hope I word it correctly, so it's understandable. I have a 22-year-old son who has wanted to start a business for a long time, and he wants to take out a loan for $3,000 to start this business. He has never asked me for money. He wants to take out a loan or use a credit card because he feels like he'll get his money back very quickly. I don't think it's a good idea to be in debt. Obviously, you guys don't either. At 22 years old, I was not in debt, and I feel like it causes anxiety, and he already has that. So would it be smart for me to loan him the $3,000, or should I just say, no, it's not a good idea? What's your advice?
Well, I've got my opinions, and that is you should not loan him money, and he should not go into debt, and you can't really tell him what to do. So here's the predicament.
No, I agree.
If I'm you and you want to support your son, you could gift him $3,000, and knowing he may never make that money back and this business could fail because he's 22 years old and he thinks he has it all figured out and this business is going to crush. And so therein lies the problem, is there's a lot of assumptions on his part that this business is going to be great. What kind of business is it?
It's a clothing line. So he's in music production, and he networks all over the United States. He's on the phone. He's on Twitter. He's just on every social media avenue. And I wouldn't say that.
Not in the negative connotation. He works really hard. Is what George is saying.
He's a networker. And
so he doesn't do anything. He just connects. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he's a networker, but for growing up introverted, that's pretty awesome, I think.
Great.
So he's a great networker, and he feels like he has built this base of people that he talks to that are interested in the types of things that he wants to create. T-shirts, hats, different things that promote not only what he does, so it's his name of the business. He already has an LLC that he went and got last year. But I just, I think, especially if you have anxiety, you're having panic attacks, you don't need to add money problems to that, and that's what I told him.
So one of the cornerstones of helping with anxiety is connection. Somebody sees you, and they're walking alongside you. Mm-hmm. Here's what I would do if I was you, and you can take this and just use it for 2-ply. It's just a dude sitting in Tennessee. This is what I would do if my kid came to me with this plan. I would sit down and say, I want to be your number one investor, your chief one and only investor, and I'm going to give you startup seed money. I want to see a business plan, and I want a 24-month guarantee that you will not borrow money. And so he's going to be able to get $3,000 risk-free from somebody he trusts. And this is you telling him, I believe in you. I believe in your business. Yeah. You've shown over the last year, you got an LC, you're networking. Now we're going to see if this thing pays off. But I want to see a business plan, because another thing anxiety inducing is feeling untethered. I don't really know where I'm going or how I'm going to get there. And it kind of just builds and builds and builds and just starts rattling. A business plan gives somebody steps. It gives them some lanes to stay in, right? And it feels restrictive, but it actually is a gift for somebody struggling with anxiety. And so if you walk and say, I'll help you design a business plan. But the only stipulation of my investment money, my seed money, my gift to you, and I guess investment you're going to expect to be paid back. So this is seed money. This is a gift.
I like that.
Is you're going to sign this contract that you will not take out debt for 24 months. And again, George is right. Okay. He's 22 years old. He can do whatever he can do whatever he wants to. And if you're a mom that's going to sue him over it, I mean, it's kind of awesome, but you're probably not going to do that.
I love the idea of you being on the operating board and you're a shareholder in this thing, and then he may actually come to you for advice because you're supportive.
That's
and
right.
There's not this weird tension of mom doesn't want me to do this and she's not on board. But I would also say, you don't need $3,000 to start a clothing line.
No!
It's 2022. You can do on-demand, drop shipping where they order the shirt and then the shirt is made and you didn't pay for stock and inventory.
That was his original plan, and I don't know why he went away from that. That was the original plan all along.
He may got a little starry-eyed and found some equipment, some gear, some things that he wants to do that he doesn't have the money for. So here's my thing. If you're going to be a successful business owner, you better know how to make money. And so I would try to prove that concept first before digging $3,000 into this business. But if you are going to do it to support him, I love John's idea of making it seed money and supporting him along the way and making sure that he doesn't go into a pile of debt for a business that very well could fail.
All right, let's take one more call. We got to get right to it, Sally, in New York City. Let's get right to your question before we run out of time. What's up?
Yes, hi guys. I need your opinion on my current situation. I'm relocating from New York to Raleigh, North Carolina, and Raleigh is the third most in-demand market in the United States right now. The prices are just completely outrageous. I have been looking for a home for the past 30 days. The homes are overpriced by $100,000. People are offering $15,000, $20,000 over the asking price just to get the home. And the homes are staying on the market maybe a day or two, long enough to get the bids and take the highest bid.
So I can hold on. I can hear your anger. Sally, I can hear your anger. What's your question?
I am so angry. I'm trying to get out of here, and there's no end in sight with this housing market in Raleigh, and there's just no end. So I want your opinion on, should I go ahead and proceed?
Sally.
Buy a house, move to Raleigh, or should I wait until the market
How much money do you have?
I'm sorry?
How much money do you have to buy this house?
I'm probably going to get about a $350,000 house, between $350,000 and $400,000.
Are you going to pay cash? You can take out a mortgage.
No, I'm going to take out a mortgage, but I'm going to put down about 50% because I want my mortgage payments to be very low.
And so, Sally, what I hear is that you have backed yourself into a corner. Either I move to only this place and only buy a house, or I'm stuck here in hell and I just got to ride this out until the end of time. And whenever we box ourselves into corners like this, we end up making rash decisions or anger-fueled decisions. So what about exhaling and then saying, what if I move to Raleigh and I just rent? And the rent is overpriced, but maybe that adjusts in a year. And maybe my down payment on my house is 40% instead of 50% because I rented for a year. I found out where I want to live. I waited till this market cooled off. Or I got some pretty key indicators. It ain't cooling off anywhere. Or I stay in New York and I start to look at places that might be a little bit different than Raleigh, North Carolina. They might look the same, be in the same region, but I'm not going to go to that city because it's just too expensive for my budget and the life I want to live. Don't box yourself up into a corner.
Took the words right out of my mouth, John.
Oh my gosh, we're getting better at this. I'm getting.
We're connected.
I love it. Hey, thanks for your time, George.
Good times, John.
Awesome.
Great show.
Thank you to Ben Hill. Thank you to Jenna Sears. And of course, Kelly Daniel in the corner. Producer James Childs. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. We'll see you soon. Be kind to one another. This is The Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Subscribe or follow today wherever you listen to podcasts.